writing. So, and then on May 2nd, we have Neil Frey, Patricia Lutz, David Schofield. On the 5th, we've got Linda Barrett and Nat Aloe, Lena, and on the 7th, Betty Yu. I hope I said those right. So happy birthday to everybody. We have a great program. As you can see, it's very crowded. Now I'm going to have the director of music is Christian Eby. Names sound familiar. So I'm going to have a friend and a relative of hers introduce the group. John?
Well, it's a real pleasure to have this group with us. I wanted to tell you, Kristen became a part of our family in 1987 was when she and her husband, our son, were married. And we remember the first time that she was introduced, John called and said, "I'm bringing a friend from Westmont." Well, John never brought gals. So we expected one of his backpacking buddies, and he walks in with this young lady, and so we got suspicious. And it wasn't too long after that they announced their engagement. Kristen's been a wonderful part of our family and a music lover, and consequently has brought tons of music. Her second child, Alex, has played violin here a couple times. So thank you, Kristen, and we welcome all of you.
Thank you for that introduction. I'll just explain our first piece a little bit. This is the Chamber Singers, the smaller of our groups, and you'll hear the rest of them here shortly. This very first piece we're singing is based on a chant, a medieval chant by Hildegard von Bingen. But it's been sort of brought up to a modern setting with an exciting rhythmic beginning, and then we launch into the chant, and then we finish with some more of that rhythm. This is Caritas Abundat. Thank you very much. And while we bring the concert choir up here, I just want to say what a joy it is to be here with all of you. Such a special treat to be able to come to my father and mother-in-law's home as we sing songs about the concept of home. And being a Californian myself, also a special treat to be coming back to my home state and singing these songs. So thank you so much for your generosity in having us here for the delicious meal we had before this. We're just so excited to be here. And students, can you raise your hand if you've never been to California before? Yeah. So... So this is a very special treat for them. Being in Iowa, we're right on the corner of Iowa, where Iowa meets Illinois and Wisconsin, right on the Mississippi River. So it's, we're over halfway on the other side. So it's a bit of a trek to get here, but boy, it's such a delight to be here. Our next piece, So God Beyond All Praising, is an arrangement of the Holst plan. You might be familiar with the Holst Symphony, The Planets. And so this particular section of that was so beautiful and popular that Holst created it as something that could be sung as a sung piece, and it has become a popular Christian hymn as well. So this is O God Beyond All Praising.
Beyond all praising, we worship you
Our next piece, Zion's Walls, by the great American composer Aaron Copland, will be conducted by one of our student conductors, Josette Robertson. We have another piece by the Chambers. This is called The Road Home, and it is by Stephen Paulus, who was one of our great choral conductors of this century. And in fact, he's a Midwestern composer, so those of us spending time there are very familiar with his great work. And this piece is all about the sense of home that comes from belonging somewhere and truly finding your calling. And my favorite phrase from this is, "There is no such beauty as where you belong." We hope you enjoy The Road Home.
Tell me where is the road I can follow my home.
The next piece that we're going to do, we're going to skip ahead and sing Crossing the Bar. And this is perhaps a poem that many of you are familiar with if you ever studied perhaps in your English lit class. But the great poem about finding one's home in the afterlife, finding one's home in heaven. And the bar that Tennyson is speaking of crossing is a sandbar. So if you can imagine a freshwater pond or river, and then a sandbar, and then the great expanse of the ocean. And he's looking ahead to the pilot, or God, calling him home, and wondering what lies out on that big wide ocean. It's mysterious, and yet you hear it also in the arrangement, very peaceful sense of going home. There's also a phrase in there, may there be no moaning of the bar, which sometimes if there was difficulty for the sailors to cross the bar, you'd hear it moaning in the waves, and he is reflecting on going home to God peacefully. So this is Crossing the Bar. Oh, one more thing about this. Gwyneth Walker has set this so beautifully, so I'd encourage you to listen. She has created waves in the chorus that you will hear. If you listen, the tempo will get faster and slower, and the volume will get louder and softer. And so she's created this sense of waves. The next piece that we're going to sing tonight on your program that you'll find under Shadow River. And so not only can songs about home have a spiritual meaning, they can also have an actual connection to the earth and to the land. And this particular setting is of a poem by Pauline Johnson, who was a native Canadian. She was the daughter of an indigenous Canadian father and an English mother. And she felt a very strong connection to her homeland. And so in this next piece, you hear a lot of those references. And Elaine Hagenberg, who set this, is a fantastic Iowan composer. And so we're pleased to present Shadow River. Our next song about home as a place takes us to Ireland. And we're going to sing an old Irish children's song called Tell My Ma. And in this situation, home is refuge, as the girl complains that she is being teased, and so she needs to go home and tell her ma. We hope you enjoy. Our next piece takes us to Scotland as we sing Loch Lomond. And this is probably one many of you are familiar with. There's some various ideas on how the piece originated, but this is one that I think is very applicable, and I think it's a good theory. So I'm going to read this one to you. The song is most likely a tale about two of Bonnie Prince Charlie's men, captured and left behind in Carlisle after the failed rising of 1745. One is to be executed while the other is set free. According to Celtic tradition, the condemned man's spirit would return to his homeland via the Low Road. His spirit will reach Scotland before his comrade gets home, but he will never meet his true love again.
Where me and me true love will ever wone.
We are going to move on to an old spiritual that some of you, if you've sung in choirs, may have done this one because it's very popular over the decades by Andre Thomas, called Swing Down Chariot. Well, it is such a joy to be here with you tonight. I'm going to have the students move into benediction mode as we get ready to sing our final song, which is a song of benediction. And joining them is Duncan Marshall in the back there. Duncan, you may have seen hanging around with us. He is actually a graduate from University of Dubuque. What year, Duncan? 2010. And he has continued to sing in my community choir, and he's also now an adjunct professor at UD. And so it is a joy to have him joining us on this tour. And this song, this benediction, we do after every concert for a few decades. So I want to make sure to invite him to sing it with you. But again, thank you so much for hosting us, for letting us be part of your program this evening. And we would like to finish this evening with offering you a blessing. The Lord bless you and keep you.
The Lord bless you and keep
First off, Christian wanted to know how many of you had ever been in California. I would like to ask how many of you actually are from Iowa. Okay. Okay. I grew up in Hampton, Iowa. That's why I'm asking that. Okay. Oh, this was such a wonderful group, Christian. I wish you could just go on singing. It's so wonderful. Oh, thank you so much for being here. I just can't tell you how much I think everybody appreciates it. You were just so wonderful in your group. Thank you. And I do have one more announcement before we close for the evening. On May 2nd, this Thursday, from 10 to 11, here in the chapel, there's the 73rd Annual National Day of Prayer. That's this Thursday from 10 to 11. And I think they have tables set up. They've done this, I believe, every year. And so this Thursday is the National Day of Prayer. So please attend that. And then I wanted to thank our helpers in the back. I gotta move my notes. Sean is the sound expert here. Sean, thank you so much. And then we have video volunteers. We've got Ron, Joe, and I don't think Steve showed up, but that's our video expert. So thank you. We're actually closing early. I appreciate everybody being here. Thank you very much. Good evening.